This is Calamus Marks the Spot. I'm the Calamus, a middle-aged Southern farming mom from the South.
And I'm Liv, a younger asthmatic girly from the city. And this is a mental health podcast from the South to the city, where we talk about religion, our experiences, and our trips. And it will be full of triggers.
Okay. For my Calamus this week, my truck had to go in the shop, so I had to use one of our extra ones, and I had to get gas because nobody puts gas in anything. So I went to fill it up with gas. You know how you click and I walk off. Well, as
No,
I'm
what's
walking,
the
huh?
Oh, gotcha.
You know the gas thing.
Yeah,
Well, as
yeah.
I'm
I
walking,
got it after you said you walked off.
no. So then I walked off, and I hear it unclick. I was like, so I walk back to the truck. And at the other side of the pump, there's a man who's filling up gas jugs, and I pulled the hose out, and the gas projectiles onto this poor man and covers him from pate to tank. He is covered in gas. It is just projectile on him, and he's like, "Oh, what?" And I was like, oh, I guess that was full. Like I didn't know. I've never had this happen. I don't know what to do. I only got $3 worth of gas, and like $1.50 of it is on this man. I'm covered in gas. So I just get in my car and drive off because I have no idea what to do. I just left that
Have a
poor
nice
man. I mean, he was
day.
drenched. And then I didn't have gas. I don't know how to put gas in it. I've driven off. I don't know. I so then I was like, I bet that light's wrong. Like it's probably just on all the time. So then I drive it until it starts sputtering when I slow down. I was like, yes, it's probably really out of gas. Well, apparently you have to detach something under the hood so it doesn't spew out. Who's heard of this? No one.
Never. What? Who would do that? I don't even know how the hood opens on most cars, so I would
Right?
get out of luck.
I had to do a full procedure just to put gas in it. It's
Sell it.
and that poor man. I hate to see the videotape of this.
We need the man side of the story.
He tells his wife, he's gonna like, "You're never gonna believe what happened."
So there you go.
Time to get a new truck. I'm
What
not
do you
sure.
say? Like I didn't have a towel to offer him, nothing. I just got my truck and left.
Even better had you just got like a tissue from the car and been like, "Here."
I should have got some of the paper towels that are out there. You should probably wash that off soon.
Oh my God.
Lightning would be the best for this.
Some people think gas smells sexy, sir. Don't worry. All right, so
You're welcome.
I get to introduce our guest today. One, the only, my baby brother, Joseph. Josefo. All right. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited. I feel
So
like
we
I'm on
start by
island.
doing like the how you got into it. We all will you were born into it, born and raised.
It was just thrust upon me.
Okay.
Truly.
So, first question.
Okay.
How have the new changes that they have made in the religion made you feel?
I mean, I don't know that it makes me feel any certain way. It more makes me think about people in general. Like you've had to downgrade it so much so that people will come in. Like you looked at society as a whole and was like, they're not going to wear suits. Take that out. Like this is not going to work. that's the that's the only thing that makes me feel. I also think like, we had to do like the meetings. It's only how many a week? One, two. We had like six. So I feel like we really put in the work, time, effort, and now people are just like, I don't even have to put on a tie. I can just go in here in sweatpants.
Did you get baptized?
Yeah, I did.
How old were you?
I was 15. Me and Thomas got baptized at the same time.
Thomas
And
couldn't remember
we
anything.
got yelled at after because they almost did us at the same time, and so they couldn't take pictures of both of us. I was like, that wasn't even my fault. But it was at it was like a district assembly, I think. And I don't know, before it happened, our grandmother was behind us and she handed me a note because you had to sit in like a special area beforehand because they asked you questions. And she was behind us and she passed a note and I was like, oh, this is gonna be like I teared up about it and I opened it and it was put your Bible in your seat because I want it after you guys leave. Like all verklempt. I was like, this is gonna be something heartfelt. I don't know if I can do it. Yeah, just I want your seat.
Good.
For just a minute, I was going to ask you which grandmother, and then I was like,
Then you heard, well, one of them was illiterate, so she wouldn't have been able to. No.
But then, so you got baptized wrong. Okay, got it.
They were like, yeah, you failed again, Joseph. Like, I didn't do anything, right? I wasn't even in control of this. Like, I didn't step down in there and be like, go. Like, they were telling you, like, hurry up.
Oh.
But then that would have made Thomas 16 or 17 clearly old enough to remember this.
Thomas or me? Like, I don't remember the situation, or
Thomas had no recollection of it at all.
okay, well, apparently he didn't come online until he was 20.
Yes.
So much stuff that I talk about. And I'm like, you remember? And he's like, no, I don't remember that at all. And I was like, wait. Like, these people were part of our lives for 15 years. And he's like, nope, no recollection of that. I don't know. And I'll talk about like when we went places like unassigned territory and stuff. And he's like, no, we slept in a tent together. Like we floated on water in a blow up bed. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? He's like, couldn't tell you.
Now I'm a little bit jealous of his disassociating skills because I had some pretty good ones. But he's next
doesn't
level.
bother him at all. Like he doesn't even. I don't know that he cares about it. He's just like, yeah, don't remember that. Like this is a big chunk of your life that you're just like, who's to say?
He was organizing stuff. He had to line his trucks up. Listen.
Okay. He just has laser focus, apparently. I don't know.
Do you feel like you were too young to do that? And how do you feel about asking children to dedicate their lives to something so young?
I mean, for me, I don't. At the time, it was just because Thomas was doing it. And like, I even remember when they went over the questions, I had rehearsed the questions. So, like, they did them out of order, and this basic bitch was thrown. I was like, wait. And I don't even remember what I said, but I remember we were at somebody's house for like the Bible study, and they came out and they were like, he did it, like I had won something. And so no, I don't. For me, it was just like, okay, this is what you're supposed to do, and Thomas is doing it, and we did everything together. But I think it's a lot to ask people to do that. That's a big step, and I think that's a lot to have to put on somebody because then they're like, you have to act this certain way. Now I can't because you told me to.
Oh, I love that.
But how funny is it that you were copying Thomas? Thomas had no idea what he was doing.
And in my mind, I was like, he's got this shit on lock. Like, I just follow the example. And he was just, no. He was in his own world. And I was like, yep, he's got this down. I can like, I let him talk for me. I didn't speak until I was 16. He was the person that I didn't have a name. I was always Thomas's little brother.
Oh, I love this train of real. Like Nick was the same thing for me, and and Nick felt the same thing about you. You spoke for Nick. This is great. This is a real shit show train. Family tree.
Okay, wait. I got one more question that wasn't on our list. I forgot about. Nicholas and Thomas both had a bond over Mama Robinson throwing water at them. Do you have a similar story?
I mean, God. Like that she tried, the only time I remember her trying to actually physically hit me was at her house, and I was going to do something with mama, and she was like, well, you said you were going to put up blinds, because she was obsessed that the man behind their house was looking at her while she was on the sexercise machine. And she doesn't like, she hates that. She doesn't want him to see her naked, which I don't know why she did it naked. I don't know. She wanted me to put up blinds. Well, was the third time I had put up blinds in that room. So I was like, no, I'm going to spend time with mama, because I was going back to Mexico. And ooh, I made the mistake, and I was like, I'm sorry that you don't care about her, but I do. And I mean, she went back, and I didn't even see it because my back was turned, because bitch is sneaky. And my mom was there, and she caught her arm and was like, you will not. And that was the only time she tried to like actually rear up on me. But no.
And were you 30?
No, I was in my 20s. Yeah. No, she terrified me for a long time. She loved Thomas. I don't know what it was. She was obsessed. And
Now, we've gotten the message that you were the favorite.
No,
oh,
Nicholas said
absolutely
he
not.
was the favorite.
Absolutely not. I was never the favorite. She could bully me, so I feel like she leaned into that. But Thomas always, because anytime she would say nuts, he would say scrotum. And like normally if one of us had said that, she would have backhanded you, but like when he would say it, she would kind of do that giggle, and then so yeah. And like he would say, when she would say take me to the store, and he would be like, no, I don't want to, and then she'd do the guilt trip of, okay, well then I'll just try and go along, because of course she was blind, and she needed us to drive with her because she had to ask us what color the light was.
Oh no.
So, but then she'd try and guilt you into it, and he would just be like, no, I'm not taking you. And she'd be like, okay, fine. And then, like, with the rest of us, it was a browbeat, like, fine, I'm leaving by myself to die in the car. So
Oh my
he could
God.
get away with a lot more. But no, I know I used to be her personal entertainment. Like, I played the piano, and she'd bring her friends over and be like, we're going to have wine. Will you play for us while, and like, she would request songs like I was fucking Billy Joel. Like, no, I don't. And like, I'm still practicing the song, and she'd be like, no, change. We want this. What? Okay, sorry. Yeah, I was
Oh.
kind of the bitch boy for her when she would have Mimosa Monday with who was,
Mondays.
yeah, she had Mimosa Mondays with Jimmy, and I would have to do her toes while she just got schmammered over the phone.
Oh my God. Oh, Mimosa Monday over the phone is even better.
But you can't be driving after Mimosa Mondays.
No, you can't. I
No,
thought
no,
maybe
no.
her friends would come
Mimosa Monday was
over.
a day at home. But like, I also had to be her chaperone at
Oh,
87 with Howard. And
Oh.
I got to be there for their first fight. She threw her ring back in the house, which was really mean because he couldn't see. Do you know how long it took him to find that? Like, that was so mean. But like, she got to the car. They had had an argument over God knows what. And she was like, wait. And she went back, opened the door, and just chunked the ring in and came back.
Oh,
and you know, it was probably over like something to do with Howard's daughter, and everybody tried to act
It
like,
was. They
how
had
dare that bitch? Her dad's 80. She wasn't expecting a stepmom. Give her a minute.
Yeah, no, and especially not one. Like,
mm-mm. Oh,
heavy.
I can't imagine her coming into your family at 87.
And then like, even for their like wedding, I remember me and my mom had to take them, and they were doing the vows, and when they told them to my grandma, she was like, no, she was just like, no, I don't feel like saying that. So Howard said it real like in love, and she was just like, pass.
Oh my
Like, I
God.
do. They're like, no, that's not this one. I do.
Yeah. I said I do.
I think it was. She just did that. I do.
She is one of a kind.
Okay, this isn't one of the questions, so you can think about it and we can come back because it isn't, but it made me think about what Thomas said. What was something that you did in service? Like, Thomas said he hated it and he had a fake knock that he would do and that he would apologize to people for being there.
Sometimes I would do the fake knock. Like I got down really good, like being able to make it look like I was hitting the door. But also if I would go by myself, which was very few and in between, like I didn't like it because I had a terrible experience one time. And people would come to the door and I'd be like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, this is the wrong house. And just walk away.
What was your terrible experience?
Last house of the day, I was like, you know what? I'll just get it. I go to the door, and this guy comes out with his comb over on his shoulder, like he was clearly doing his due for the day. And I went in with the presentation. He was like, yeah, that sounds interesting. You should come in. And I was like, ooh. It gave me a weird feeling, and I was like, no, I'm okay. Like, I've got people waiting for me in the car, so I have to be quick. And he was like, are you sure? Because I'd like to show you something. And I was like, no, I'd really prefer not to. And I don't know what the presentation was, but it must have been something about like hell doesn't exist because God loves you. And he busted out crying when I said it. And I was like, what's happening? And he was like, well, that upsets me. And I was like, I mean, it shows. And he was like, because God loves you, that's why he makes hell, because he has to punish you. And I was like, okay. And so I kept on trying to leave, and he was like, no, like I think he even said he had a secret handshake. And I was at that point, I was like, no, like go fix your due. I gotta leave. And I remembered like I just had to walk away. He just kept on. I was like, okay, I'm never going to the door by myself again.
He was gonna try to punish you.
Yes.
Because he loved you.
Ugh, and with that comb over down, like it was definitely.
He was like that guy, that giggity guy of the Family Guy. Okay. How do you feel about people who are currently still drinking the Kool-Aid? And Olivia spelled it COO, the Kool-Aid.
I mean, really, the only people that I know are my parents. So it just seems normal. But I mean, at work, I've run into people who are still part of it, and it just kind of makes me a tiny bit sad.
Like you also have a brother and a sister who are still in it.
I know, but yeah. And on our weekly calls, we talk about it, but I don't ever talk to them. Like, no, they make me angry. Not angry. I actually kind of appreciate it because they're so bad. And I don't want to say bad at it. They're really good at it, but they're so good at it that it makes me look good being who I am. Like my parents, who else are like, you kind of have to talk to me because otherwise the people that you are supposed to be able to talk to is like Robbie. So like, I get that you need a normal person to talk to, then. The sad thing is I'm the most normal they can get.
What is something you thought was normal until you got out?
I thought that everywhere you went, everyone was judging you. Like, no matter where you go, no matter what you're doing, that people are intently watching all of your motions. And even now, like, I have to remind myself, no one in this room cares. The very David moment, no one cares. That was the hardest thing. I thought everyone was looking at you. I thought everyone was judging all the time. And literally nobody, they can't even tie their shoes, so they're not looking at what I'm doing.
That is a big one. I didn't realize that was what I thought of people, but I also had to tell myself no one cares. No one's looking at you. No one is interested. And now I just stare at everybody. And I'm like, I'm practicing. And
no one's even looking at me.
No one's even looking. This is fantastic. And I'm like, oh, what are they talking about? That's really good. So now I'm the one judging everyone.
Well, I think that's it kind of makes you have to be like that because you had to look at other stuff at other people just in case you needed it for later. Like, putting this in the vault because that's something I can pull.
Yeah.
It does kind of make me that way, and I have to be like, stop looking at people so close. Like, you're being a creeper.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but sometimes until you said that, I didn't think about that, but I'll say stuff to Brandon, or I'll say, "You mean you didn't find out?" And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "What do you mean you don't know their shoe size? What did you even talk about?"
Like, you didn't
Okay.
talk about family secrets? What's happening here?
Yes.
You don't know why they haven't talked to their aunt in 10 years? Were you
It's
even paying attention?
it's like you don't even care about this conversation.
Questions did you ask?
Okay. Dating. In and out of the cult. Now, you were a serial dater. We all know you. Quite the ladies' man.
But I wasn't prepared, again, for people not caring. Like, when I went out with people, they were invested. They knew where I went to dinner. They knew what time we got home. They knew, and even not even my parents, like, just people that were acquaintances in the church, and they were like, we saw you at. I wasn't used to just being able to do whatever I wanted to and not having a full report the next day from someone who wasn't even involved. And there was a lot of that. There was a lot of, what were you doing yesterday, with who, for how long? And it was just a relief to be able to go out and not have to worry who's looking at me and who's going to say, this is where I saw him.
Very true. I was always giving a report, and I was like, I'm finally having a really fun time, and we barely kissed. And now I can't even wear a fucking costume on Halloween to my work. What, like, no one comes in here
that.
and set up, mind you, with the costume, a full setup, sting operation.
Oh, and people are like, poor Kim Kardashian. I'm like, I get it. I understand. It's hard to be under scrutiny. Plus, it was like having fucking paparazzi everywhere. It was, how did you see me in a dark theater and you knew what row I was on and what seat I was in?
Obsessed.
Well, who was your tell on person? Because Olivia's stepmom was a big tell on her. We heard Jason was a big tell on Thomas. So who was constantly telling on you?
Who I think her name was Amy. It was it was one of the Markles' new wives.
Oh, the Spanish lady.
One of their kids. Oh my God, that
Oh,
big. And the thing is,
oh.
she was friends with Erica. And so Erica would tell her stuff, not realizing that she was going to be the one who tattled. And that was all she wanted to know. And then she would immediately go and tell everybody. And sometimes she would tell on stuff that she was part of. She would just leave herself out of it, and she'd be like, guess who was drinking in their truck last night? Because she was there drinking with us. And she just left herself out of it. So she was the biggest tell, because normally the first time somebody told, I was like, okay, we're not doing anything with you anymore. Like, I get it. But no, I don't feel like I had anybody else who was really a tattler.
We were all too old to tell on you. We didn't know.
Yeah.
When were you officially out of the cult, or when would you say your final exit date was?
I mean, I had to be at least 30. Yeah, I was around 30. Before that,
Joey's like 36. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be 36 when I get out.
still to be determined. No, and saying that, I've been telling people that I'm turning 38, and I had to do math the other day to figure out that I've been lying to everybody. I'm 36, I'm turning 37. I told somebody, I'm like, I'm turning 38, and they were like, are you sure? Because I'm 38. And I was like, well, just wait. Let me plus and take away here. Yeah, 36, gonna be 37. What was the question again?
When were you out? When are you going to get out? When are you going to tell them?
In Mexico, it made it a lot easier because it was kind of a transition. Like, nobody was there, so I didn't really have to show off for anybody. Like my parents, I didn't have to show up for them. So probably in my late 20s, I was like, this is just gonna be my fade out. And then around 30, I just stopped going. But it was like, in Mexico, it was dumb because they would yell at me all the time about, I wore shorts. And they were like, you can't have on shorts, you show too much of your leg. And I was like, we Catholic? What's happening? I can show my legs. And they were like, no, that's unacceptable. So it was a lot. Like, they picked on me for anything. My shirts, my shorts.
You should have bought a
Whatever.
burqa and then wore it the next time.
Yes.
How about now? Then you could have cut it off to a mini skirt.
Just the butt cheeks.
What about my legs now?
Was there like one certain thing or teaching that you were just like,
I think the whole disassociation or disfellowshipping, that was something I just couldn't get into. So we're supposed to go talk to perfect strangers and act nice, but you're supposed to shun people that you've known forever. That just seems unreasonable. And like, literally, if we're to take it seriously, Jesus let a whore wash his feet with her clearly greasy hair. And you're gonna tell me, and then he looked at everybody and was like, she's better than all y'all bitches. Like, you're gonna tell me that then after he says that, then we're supposed to just not talk to people that we actually love and know? That doesn't make sense to me. That was a big hang up.
That's a good one.
did you notice how unfair it was to women?
I mean, yes, because especially with our mom, she's pretty smart. So she would try and step in and do stuff, and they were just like, listen, Harlot, get back. They weren't into it. And it wasn't like she was trying to take the lead. People were just sitting there with their fingers in their butt, like, what do we do? Like when that guy had a stroke on stage, she immediately turned around and told somebody behind us, you need to go get him. And they were like, you don't have a penis. Don't tell me what to do. That wasn't even like a spiritual thing. That was someone having a stroke. And you still took the fact that she has titters to not take her advice. That's stupid. So no, it seems normal because obviously day to day women get treated the same. But even in that setting, we were supposed to all be the same, and that was still a very like, we're the same, but women can't do anything. That just seems insulting.
We could do anything as long as we covered our head, Joey.
Well,
And our shoulders.
the struggle is real. I get it. Cover those fucking knees.
Those sexual
That
deviant knees.
shit. The most sexual part of anyone's body. Never looked at someone's knees.
If you do too long, they get a little weird.
Like, I looked too hard at someone's elbows the other day and almost gagged. I was like, oh God.
Put those away.
Handle this.
How was it from your perspective as a man?
I mean, it was a little different for me because, like I said, the grown men there picked on me a lot for, I guess, I don't want to say being popular because I wasn't popular, but like people liked me. I was nice. And I remember I got in trouble for hugging someone's wife. And they were like, the next day I got pulled in the back room. I should have decorated that back room because I lived in it. Like, they pulled me in the back room and they were like, what was that yesterday? And I was like, a cute suit? I don't know. What are you talking about? And I was like, yeah, like I spend the night at their house. We're friends. And they were like, yeah, but she has a husband. Like, okay, and would you like to elaborate? Like, that didn't answer my question. And they were like, well, that's disrespectful to him because he's not here because he didn't go to the church. And I was like, okay, but like, what do you think is going on? And they were like, well, that looks like risque. And I was like, to hug someone. And they were like, yeah. And so then I, of course, went to these people's houses and I was like, listen to what they told me today. And we like laughed about it. Well, the husband got mad and he was like, he went to them, I guess the next meeting, and he was like, listen, don't act like my wife's a slut. She can hug whoever she wants. Like, that was unacceptable. I got in trouble for it because I had told what they told me. And I was like, the thing is, it's about me. So I'm allowed to share the information that has to, and I said, I didn't say it in like a derogatory way. I was like, can you believe how funny is this that they thought we were slapping uglies? And Yeah, so I was doubly in trouble because I hugged her and then I told her about it.
I love that man stood up for her.
Yeah.
Was he not part of it?
No, he was not. And he was like, don't act like, don't talk
Oh.
about my fucking wife. If you have a problem with her, you can come to me. And he said, like, I'm the head of the household. You guys know that. So, like, don't say shit about her that you don't include me on. And I was, okay. Ever remember the bathrooms at assemblies? Were they as bad in girl bathrooms as it was in men's? Because, like, when you went into the men's bathroom, it was just a cacophony of just, and people who moan. I don't know who shits and moans in public. Like, you need to go home. They would just be like, "Ugh." If you have to push that hard, stop eating cheese.
Quit eating the Lunchable cheese.
Yes, it is.
No, those pastrami on rye sandwiches we had to give with our tickets.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. No, I was terrified of those automatic flushing toilets that were so loud, and I thought I was going to get sucked down. So I tried to spend the least amount of time in the bathroom. Oh, toilets were my worst nightmare. I would just rather go in my pants and put it in the closet. Sorry, didn't make it. Can't face the toilet today.
Can't be bothered.
It's too scary. I haven't worked on my confidence today.
But no, to answer your question, Joey, no bathroom is as disgusting as a men's bathroom. And I fully support bathroom bans. I don't think any straight men should be able to go in a bathroom with anyone else. You should have to have your own bathroom if you're a straight man. And everyone else, we'll just share over here. We're good with it. I promise.
Absolutely.
Because no, I don't know what men are doing. They're just like it's a damn fire hose.
Oh,
my boys do it too. I don't know what is going on in there. I don't know what.
No.
What was your favorite privilege that you got to do in the congregation? Was it giving talks or did you like giving talks?
No, oh God, no, it made me so nervous. And I think it was because I kind of felt like Ricky Bobby, like I didn't know what to do with my hands. Like it was just, I don't know. And normally I talk with my hands a lot, you notice, but up there I was like, and then we do this, like if we go over here, and it made me feel, I didn't know what to do. So that made me nervous. And I'm a sweater. We all know this. So like I had to really fight. Like I could feel sweat dripping down my side going to my waistband. It was bad. So I think, I don't know. I think probably that I got to do like, oh God, the only time I liked it is when they didn't have the poles. The pole was a nightmare because then they'd call on somebody who was over at the side and you're like, if you don't finish this comment, like you're trying to hold this up. And normally people would grab it. And sometimes it was fun because you got to jerk it away from them. Like, don't touch my microphone. Like, I don't need you to do this. Like, I got this. But sometimes it was like 6 people in and you're just strong arming it on the aisle, just like, yeah. And it kind of drops down and there. But no, I did like the microphones. I think I liked being able to direct people in service. Like, I got to be the person that came up with something to talk about and like to send everybody out and be like, you go here and you go here and this is fine. And everybody listened. Like it was super crazy. I didn't feel like people should listen to me because I was a teenager. And these are all like, I mean, they were probably in their 30s. I thought they were 70. I was like, you need to go work this street. And they were like, okay, perfect. I had no idea where I was. Like, I didn't know street names. I still don't know street names. And I was like, yeah, you guys, this is the street we're supposed to. I don't know.
Love.
Okay. Tell us about, this question is it's talking about parental and familial alienation. What was the question, Olivia?
Oh, what is your experience with parental or familial alienation? Or did you experience?
I kind of feel a little guilty about it because I don't feel like I got the worst part of it because by the time that I was like, okay, I'm done, they had kind of done away with you have to shun people. And like there was a period of time where they didn't talk to me but my mom always called or sent a message or something. And in those moments, like I really didn't want people to bother me, so it kind of worked out. But no, I never got like the real we're not talking to you or not. But I remember when Thomas and Katie left, like when they left, then it was like more pressure of I had them on top of me. So it kind of made it nice that then there was a point where they were just like, okay, we're not going to mess with you anymore. Like, we don't want to talk to you. Like, oh, perfect. I get a chance to just breathe for a second. That was super nice. But no, I never really got the like, "Ooh, you're bad and we're not going to talk to you." Like, I remember when I told my mom that I was getting married, and she was like, okay, there's going to be a moment. No, it must have been before. I don't know what I told her. Oh, she saw a picture of us online. And she was just like, okay, well, I love you. And that was it for, it was probably a year. I kind of got messages and stuff, but I was doing my own thing and I wasn't there with her. So it wasn't like I was going to see her anyway. Like I was in Mexico.
Yeah,
So
you
it didn't
alienated
really seem,
yourself far enough
yeah,
away.
right.
Try me. I already did
Can't stop it now.
it.
All right. Our last question. When did you know you were gay? How old were you?
I don't really know. I'm
I
trying
should have
to
let you
think.
in on it. I knew when you were like 3.
Other people did, obviously. Um, but no, I was in my 20s, and I think it was the first time that I actually had an experience with a man, and I was like, "Oh, gotcha." Like this is kind of nice. So, it had to be in my 20s. I don't remember exactly when, but no, before that it had never really occurred to me because it wasn't something like obviously it was a little bit insulting in the church because they were like, yeah, you can totally be homosexual, you just can't be homosexual. Like, yeah, of course we accept you, just don't do anything that you do. And so that was, I don't know, I never felt like, okay, well, they're talking to me, but I was always like, that's a tiny bit insulting. Like, yeah, we accept anybody as long as you're not doing that.
Yeah. Hmm. A little late when
Right?
everybody else is on your case.
Wish people had just said it out loud, like Katie said. Like I knew when you were 3, and then I think back about like my parents bought me My Little Ponies. They were just
Yeah.
like, yeah, go in there and get that. But I do remember like they would send me in to get it. Like they wouldn't go in and get it. They're like, no, if that's what you want, here's the money. You go do it.
I know. I was
Don't involve us in this.
jealous of those My Little Ponies
Oh yeah, they were pretty fantastic.
because I'd have the vintage ponies from the Habitat from Humanity, the
Already
wooden
colored on.
or the wooden toys with wheels on them that you pull on a string.
You were like 10.
All the pony's hair was cut, so it was all mohawks already.
Yeah, I was allowed to have 3 Barbies.
That was it?
Yeah,
But you
God,
know what that was what used to kill me about you guys though is that your mom had a TV in the van before there were TVs in the van, and y'all got to watch
Yeah.
Veggie Tales, and
uh,
I was
What?
it was
yes.
because Xander loved it, and apparently your third child just gets whatever because he's a terror, and you just have to like feed him the good stuff to make him stop because he doesn't stop. He was like Tasmanian devil, and so we were like, yeah, he wants to watch Veggie Tales, yeah, for sure. And we're like,
Yeah, sure, let's do it.
Veggie
We weren't
Tales
even
rock.
allowed to watch Sesame Street.
oh well, because that's communist.
Damn trash can puppet.
Oscar the Grouch.
Not the damn Cookie Monster again.
Talking about the United States. Too much.
Oh my god.
You have to tell Olivia. I don't know. Olivia, has he ever told you his chiropractor in Mexico story?
No.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, when I first got there, beds are unheard of uncomfortable.
Yes.
So I got there and I had to lay all the clothes that I brought under, like on the bed so that it was a little bit soft. And they do a lot of marching bands there, like through the streets as festivals. And it's just drums, like battle drums. And they do what they call fireworks, which they're not because they're during the day, so they make no color or anything. It's just bombs. So all you hear is like, and like it
Oh,
rattles shit, and everything is made of cinder blocks. So if you're rattling it, you did something good. So I was in bed, I was laying on all of my clothes. One of these marching bands go by, and I just woke up out of nowhere to battle drums and bombs, and I thought I was under attack.
oh,
But both my arms are asleep because bitch has
because
no circulation. So I'm just laying in bed like, oh God, this is how I'm going. Like I'm trying to wake my arms up so that I can actually get out of bed. Um, so sleeping like that just threw my back out. And I didn't even notice until I was over at somebody's house and they said something and I was like, yes. And they were like, why are you turning your entire body to look at us? And I was like, oh God, a little something in my neck. And they're like, we have somebody, it's perfectly fine. I was like, okay, cool. So we drive up to just a house, which is not out of the ordinary. A lot of doctors' offices are just in houses. Oh, then it goes downhill. So we walk in, and it's just this ancient man. It's just their house. There's a fish tank that is completely green, like you can't even see through it, but you can tell that something's inside. There's ripples in the algae on the side. So that was my first red flag. Kept going. And he was like, come with me, I'll show you. And I went with the family. So it was the mom, the dad, the brother, and the daughter, and me. We walk, like, we turn the corner and go into a room, and it is a 10 by 12 room, and one whole wall is like 3 foot deep with the Virgin Mary paraphernalia, but like everything statues, flags, candles, just everywhere. And so we walk in, there's a couch. He directs the family to sit on the couch and then very ceremoniously grabs a sheet off the couch and lays it on the concrete floor. And then gets one of the pillow, like the throw pillows off the couch and puts it down. And he's like, and now you may lay down. And I was like, oh. Okay. And he was like, okay. And like get undressed like to your underwear. And I was like, and they had to translate it because at the time I heard underwear and I was like, absolutely not. I was like, I'm a good American. I am not stripping down unless you fit into rain dollars. No. The other thing is the pain is right here. So I don't know what you need the bottom half of me for. Like it's literally you could do it with my shirt on. So I took my shirt off and I was like, this is as much as he gets, and you can tell him that. So I lay down and thank God I had a belt on. The next thing I know, there is this man straddling me and he puts his hands under my belt and goes to like pull down. But of course, I got that shit on lock, so it's not going anywhere. And when he does it, my first response as any good American, I just yelled no and did a perfect plank on the floor. Like, but only my pelvic part was touching the ground. Like everything else was just as stiff as you could be. They're just letting this happen. I'm being sexually assaulted in front of a family and they are giggling about it. So I'm laying there, and the only thing, just like a good rapist, he's like, just relax, everything's gonna be fine. No, like this is going against everything my mother told me. I am supposed to yell fire right now. That's the like I was sweaty because it made me so uncomfortable. And he's like, at one point, he stood up, took my ankles, lifted and twisted at the same time. So now my hips are bruised because he just let me fall back down on each side. To his credit, 3 days later, I felt much better.
Okay.
And all of them just acted like it was normal. And I was like, okay, like just for next time, when you see me literally being assaulted, can you do more than laugh? Like, out over here. I was doing my best.
Trying to relax.
Just relax. No, this is not a relaxed moment. I would be a horrible person if I relaxed right now.
All right. Are you ready for my mom moment?
Yes.
Everybody is.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's another do not have children unless.
PSA.
And someone said to me the other day, you talk about school more than anything else. And here's the
Oh,
thing. You think you got through school and you're done? No. If you have kids, you have to go through it again, and it's 10 times worse. And I am really surprised that there aren't more school shootings by parents. Man, they be testing my patience every day. And I thought that maybe my permanent file would follow me, that they'd be like, this lady's a nightmare. Like, just don't fuck with this one. It has not followed me like they said it would at all. And it is stressful. And I don't know how as many kids graduate as they do, because I'm like, don't you want to drop out? You're sure you want to go back again? Really? It's awful.
sure, this is what you want. They did call you a lot to the school.
A lot. Last week was the first time that I refused to come to a meeting. They were like, will you come to? I said, absolutely not. I put absolutely not in my reply, because what? If you got something to say, fucking say it. Write it down. I don't have to come over there. What do you got to say? What? No. Mm-mm.
Your PSA is
I volunteer at the school before you have kids. Just see if you're ready for 12 years, 13. Let's see, now it's 14 years of that, because you got to do pre-K and kindergarten. Just make sure, because I'm telling you, woo, you had to have medication.
I remember working at the school in Mexico, and we had to call someone's mom in because their hands were too weak to hold a pencil, because she did everything for them. Like, she dressed them. She did. Now, mind you, I'm the English teacher. Like, I'm in their class for an hour tops a day. I was the one that had to talk to her about it.
uh-huh.
And they were like, tell her that she needs to let him do stuff. And I was like, how is this my responsibility as an English teacher to tell someone that they need to let their child dress themselves?
Ooh, crossing
The stuff I had to call people up there for was ridiculous. And they wanted to do it all the time. And a lot of times I'd just say, like, yeah, I called and talked to him on the phone. It's okay. I didn't.
And Katie's getting all those calls.
Oh, they don't do that. They don't hesitate. Call my photo. Mm-mm. All right, let's hear Olivia. What's your story for us today?
Okay,
So excited.
My Lives Loose Lips today is a tragedy turned into self-help. Because you always have to look at the silver lining.
What I want to call my life story.
It's the title of my book. So I went on a cruise. It was a bachelorette and bachelor party cruise.
Stay
So
at home, like, you're just everywhere.
I cannot possibly stay at home. And so I got invited last minute also, because I'm just so fun.
That body. They're like, yes, she's cruise ready.
She is cruise ready. We're adding her. And so there's no, at least on this cruise line, there was no suitable men who were single. They were all married. It was so trashy, so sad. All the single men were predators preying on the 18-year-olds that claimed they were 21. And so there was a nice sober boy in the bachelor party who was one thing about me, I just really like it when you're obsessed with me. So
Still, I'm not.
yeah, till I'm not. Oh my God. So we ended up, he came to my door with a bottle of aloe and was like, I thought you might need this today, because we were at the pool all day. I was like, that's so sweet. I already have lotion. Thank you. And then he was just standing there and was like, oh, and he was my neighbor on the cruise. And so I was like, oh, you want to kiss, I guess. And so yes, he came in. He was very hot naked. It was very enjoyable. And then 2 days later, I did get lost on the cruise. It was my first time by myself in the room. And I did not go to bed till 4 a.m. most nights. So at 4 a.m, I'm looking around like, these numbers aren't right. but I don't know where else to go.
You just keep walking straight and you'll find, don't make any turns or you'll get lost.
It was about 40 minutes. I wanted to cry. And then I finally found it. And I was like, hallelujah. And so the next time I got lost, I just texted him and he came. Now, I provided the condoms clearly because no boys can be responsible enough to have ones that fit them correctly. So I just have my dermatologist approved ones because that's what I'm worried about. And
you like match them up, like, okay, this one will work.
I'm like, this one's you. And so I just assumed it came off. He needed another one. So here you go. Here's the second one. Don't worry. And we finished. And I'm like, well, where are they? Oh, they're probably in the sheets. And I'm like, you're going to need to check. And he said, me?
Yeah, this is checkable.
And I was like, yeah, you did this. You're going to need to check. He checks and he said, then nothing. He goes to the bathroom. Not one, but two. Now this defeated the whole fucking purpose, sir. Inappropriate. Can't trust you. I can't. So we come home. Have to be on antibiotics. Can't drink. Can't have sex. And I'm like, well, this is fucking rich. You know what? The medium did tell me I need to go be with nature and be breastfeeding. So I guess I will read a book and I will go on a hike by myself. So thanks, but no thanks. Taking a break, taking a sabbatical from my life. No more sober boys. Sober boys that gaslight you? I'm the one that's drunk. Rude.
Start using that though, like when people stand there too long, well, obviously you want to kiss. So
the amount of times though I've done it, and guess what? I need to stop. Oh, they can't. What happened to it? What do you mean it might be in the sheets? It was on you. I'm sick.
Oh no, it's still in the package. What?
Joke's on you. Didn't even use it.
You know that they go back?
Reusable. It's eco-friendly.
Gotta make sure
you're gonna have a fitting before. Did you know that the astronauts in space, they have to have like condom urinals because otherwise their pee would fly everywhere, you know? And they had to change the names from small, medium, large to large, gigantic, and humongous because nobody would ask for a small one.
God, can you imagine? That would be a nightmare if you had to pee really bad to then have to put that on before you can pee.
I do love that for men. They need a harder obstacle. They have it too easy with those penises. Meanwhile, I've got this petri dish just waiting to be corrupted.
All right. For my question today, what's your favorite flower smell?
Jasmine.
Mine's wisteria.
I don't know. I smelled honeysuckle today and it's pretty good.
It is really good.
I also like the lily, I think. The white lily. Ugh.
Do they smell? I don't know that I've ever smelled those. I
okay,
like gardenia.
Well, it's called something else then. What's it called?
I like gardenia too, but I don't like it when they recreate the smell. Like I like the flower smell. I don't like when they say it's like a cream that has gardenia smell, and I'm like, oof.
Yeah, I have a hard time with any artificial smells. So like, that's like chemicals in it, though.
Smells what did you do this?
A honeysuckle. I love honeysuckle.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that is good. Do you still eat honeysuckles or no?
Yes, but I just learned today that once they're yellow, there's no more honey in them. So you have to get them while they're white. Yeah.
Oh, so you've just been eating petals.
No, you don't eat the petals. You got to pull it out. Don't you know?
But you can't find
obsessed with this. I remember one time we went to the grocery store and we gave you a strawberry and you just ate the whole thing. Like you didn't take the top off. We were like, here, take that. And you're just like, greenery and all. Apparently, Olivia was just going around eating all plants. Yeah, I think that's nightshade. Just put it in your mouth.
Yeah, it'll be so good, I promise. Oh my God. Oh no.
She said his phone gave up.
Okay, well, that was our show.
From the South to the city.
Don't be shitty.
Don't be shitty.